Good morning, fam, and happy Saturday. As we know, SA received a group of people from Palestine. They reportedly arrived with incomplete and missing documents, and that caused a delay at the airport as they could not be processed. They could not be processed as their documents were not meeting their entry requirements into SA. And according to what we hear in the media, Gift of the Givers then negotiated with the Department of Home Affairs, and the group was eventually allowed into the country. This has raised concerns among the citizens, particularly regarding the national security. Many citizens are questioning why SA was chosen as their destination, considering that the group passed several countries, including Arabian countries, before they reached our shores. Thomas said someone chartered an expensive flight for them from Palestine. Nobody offered them accommodation in SA until Gift of the Givers did. The user further said none of their neighboring countries were interested in taking them for asylum seeking. None verified them if they are not from Hamas. So lady said they don't have departure stamps on their passport. They also didn't express intention to seek asylum. What are they doing here? Mind you, this is happening days before our global summit. Major security concern like this, you're this country. Simon said, according to Nigel, there are more than 16 flights that are en route. Is it safe to assume that some of them are headed here? This father of 8 was interviewed on ENCA and he said he's going nowhere. Can't wait to enroll his kids in school. So why Mara Clayton? Why? And this one said, we don't know if these are indeed Palestinians seeking asylum or just a plot. They refuse to be registered as asylum seekers. Farah said, I saw many young, healthy, well-built, compact-ready men in that plane, and we have no way of confirming they are who they are purported to be. Many people are concerned about the security of this country and its people, especially because we can't really verify those people. According to Gift of the Givers, there are several other planes that are en route to SA with this particular group of people. It seems like we are still going to be receiving many of them. Listen to the videos in the next slide to get clarity on this matter, and remember to also leave your comments down below to let us know of your take on this. And that's all we have for now. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you again in the next update. Bye.
How did they find themselves here in South Africa, and what's the latest? And I'm sure you can give us that information.
Essentially, there's an organization called Al-Majd, which is linked to the Israelis, which has been charging people and promising to get them out of Gaza. So what happened, for example, with this flight and the previous one, people were called on a particular night and told tomorrow morning the buses will be ready for you. Next morning they went to the bus, they were told you can only take a rucksack, nothing else. Where they were then taken across into Israel. On the Israeli side, they were told that they can't have rucksacks either. All they're allowed is a cell phone, passport, and some money, some cash. Then they were taken to the Ramon military Air Force base in Israel. They were put onto a chartered flight, no exit stamp. They were put onto a chartered flight, ended up in Nairobi, then put onto another chartered flight, and then ended up in Johannesburg. In both cases, people were actually not told where they're going to end up. Some of them believed that they were going to Indonesia, some to Malaysia, etc. On this flight, I know 2 people who were given booking documents for accommodation. And the one was a hotel in Mumbai in India. The other one was a hotel in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. And so they had no clue where they're going until they landed here and they told they were in Johannesburg. The last flight people came in, they were stamped and came in. The problem, of course, is that all of them, in the last flight and this one, they have no exit stamp. And technically, no country will accept you if you don't have an exit stamp from somewhere else. So they had no exit stamp, they arrived here, and border management this time decided to take a hard line. Unfortunately, many of the people said that they're visiting South Africa. And so if you're a tourist, you need an exit stamp, you need a return ticket, you need accommodation booked in your name. They didn't have any of those. And so border management said that they're not going to allow them in. At some point later, they then said that they want to apply for asylum. By that time, border management said that this is very difficult. You already said one thing, now you're saying another. And the department and the Minister of Home Affairs refused to sign off on allowing them in. So right until about half an hour ago, the situation was that they were going to, the flight they were on would have to go back to Nairobi with them on it. And if they got to Nairobi, it would be a humanitarian crisis. The Kenyans would not let them in. It would really be a crisis, and it would be an embarrassment for South Africa. So just about an hour ago, the president decided that they would be allowed in. So they will all be coming through. They're being processed now in about 2 hours. The Minister of Home Affairs has to sign it, and in about 2 hours they'll all be coming out. And then we will look at them, those who want to get asylum in South Africa, etc. And the group of organizations that's working together on this is arranging transport for them to get to the hotels that have been booked for them for 7 days, and then arranging other accommodation. So these organizations have come together. The previous lot of people, there's accommodation for all of them, food, medical services available for them all, needs assessments done, etc. And all of that will be done for this group as well.
Do we know under what conditions are they being let into the country? Is it, as you said, is it asylum? Is it a leeway, special kind of?
So we've been made to understand that they will all be allowed in. Now let me just say that some of them are leaving. Mm-hmm. So a group of about 14 left this morning as well, some going to Egypt, some wherever. But the rest who are coming in, they will come in, and they will then be able to decide whether they want asylum or not. That's what we've been made to understand.
Let's talk about the conditions, in the plane. You've been there almost the whole day. Just take us through, that moment. What did you witness? What were the conditions like? Were they really welcomed into South Africa with warm hands, as we're made to believe?
So we got onto the plane after midday. In the morning, this was a plane that was full of people, and it was getting very hot. They were complaining. We were in touch with some of the people on the plane. And then at some point the police instructed that the doors should be taken out, etc., and that they should be given water, air supply, and all of that. When we got on, it was mid-afternoon, not mid-afternoon, early afternoon. It was extremely hot, and 160 people in one plane, almost full. It was really hot. It was difficult. The kids were all screaming, etc.
Been very traumatized, but there's a back-end story to this. This is not the first plane. This is the second plane. On the 28th of October, a plane arrived in Tambo Airport, and these people were displaced. They didn't know where to go. They had no contact numbers, no phone numbers, and a person called Nigel Bentley from the church found them and started putting them together with other civil society organizations, and members of my team got involved. I'm not sure how they found them, where they were displaced. There were 176 of them, and then some of them went back to other countries. The family members of this first group then told us yesterday that their family members are coming on the second plane, and nobody knew about that plane. And it seems from their feedback, Israel is voluntarily removing people from Gaza. This is ethnic cleansing at its best, and taking away their goods, their hygiene packs, their food, setting them onto chartered planes, and government has to investigate how people are coming on chartered planes without stamps. Israel did not stamp their passports, so they're sort of traveling illegally, brought into South Africa, and the second plane came in this morning at 8 o'clock. The Border Management Authority didn't allow them to get off the plane, simply because they were following the rules, that there is no stamp on the passport, and they were trying to follow rules and not get into trouble for the stamp. I got hold of Zane Dango. He's in Canada. Of course, he spoke to the minister and other people in DERCO. I spoke to the Border Management Authority, other people involved in this issue, and it was about the stamp. And of course, now this afternoon, the minister is writing to the Minister of Home Affairs, because that's his policy or his portfolio, to waive the stamp requirement, so these people then could come into the airport and come into the country and seek asylum. What's worrying for me is, why should DERCO be writing to Home Affairs when Home Affairs themselves could have realized that this is a humanitarian crisis, and they could have waived that requirement themselves without waiting for a letter to come from DERCO? In any case, they're hungry, there's a pregnant woman, there's children, they were caught in that plane for 8 or 10 hours, perspiring, the air is soaked, the plane is in a terrible condition, no proper, one toilet or two toilets is not enough, and those people are really distraught, coming from 2 years of genocide. We've provided meals, and it's not only us. Civil society organizations are getting involved. A lot of people have already offered food, clothing, medical support. Our medical teams did see the first team that came a few days ago, and now they are ready to check the second team out. And also, people have offered houses, and lots of people want to get involved. So we're very grateful for South Africans. We're grateful for the government for making this happen, in keeping with our policy of taking Israel to the ICC and to ICJ, and of course getting countries in Bogota to put sanctions against Israel. So we really appreciate the efforts of our government. It's just that the Border Management Authority had to follow the mandate because these are civil servants. They can't do what they want. They have to follow the law.
جايين من غزة هربين من الموت على جنوب أفريقيا. الحكومة في جنوب أفريقيا مش راضي تستقبلنا. احنا هنا عالقين في المطار نرجو المساعدة.